Today, I wanted to talk to you about this blue flu that has that infected Atlanta officers overnight as they are in protest over the charging of two police officers for the killing of Rayshard Brooks. And by the way, blue flu, that's a new term for me, which is how it's a way for officers to protest in places where it's actually illegal for them to like walk out of the job, so they just all call out sick. So that's very interesting. There was if you're not familiar with this Rayshard Brooks story, this happened at a Wendy's in an Atlanta area Wendy's. Essentially what happened is Rayshard Brooks fell asleep at the wheel in the drive-through lane, and they called police. They came out, and they said, "Hey, man, what are you doing here?" They got out. They had a long conversation with him, which if you watch the video, he wasn't being aggressive at all. But he was under the influence of alcohol, fell asleep at the wheel. They were trying to get him to take a breathalyzer. Eventually, they got him to do it. He was trying to just say, "Just let me walk home." Let me walk home. It's not a big deal. Just come pick up my car, in the morning or something. And, in an ideal world, maybe that would happen. But, most of us aren't afforded that luxury to be able to, maybe be, drunk at the wheel or something and then being able to just go away peacefully. Typically, if a police officer finds you like that, they're going to arrest you. And as soon as they tried to handcuff Rayshard Brooks, things turned violent, and you can go check out this video. There's two officers wrestling with him. He then sort of gets away, and he had grabbed one of the officer's stun gun, turns and shoots the stun gun at the officer as he's trying to flee. And as that happens, one of the police officers opened fire. I believe 2 shots hit Brooks, one of them piercing his heart and killing him shortly thereafter, and another stray bullet hit a car nearby. So the Atlanta DA has charged these two. I don't know exactly what the charge is. I believe one of them is like a felony murder, something like that. So late last night, Atlanta cops said, screw that. There was some complaint from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, as I read in a local story, that they were a little bit taken aback by the charges coming so quickly before them having a chance to complete their investigation. But here we are again, and of course, in that incident, if you'd followed this story, that a whole gathering of people showed up at that Wendy's, and in fact, one protester set the restaurant on fire, and the Wendy's burnt to the ground that night. So a lot of anger still out there. And now we're getting anger and pushback from police officers who feel like they're being unfairly targeted, either by protesters or by their own governments, who at least are supposed to maybe protect them and have some sort of a due process. So this would be interesting to see how this shakes out. But this idea of the blue flu, officers in Atlanta, could this be a new thing? Because we're seeing calls to defund the police, to maybe break these departments down, and cops are being like, "Fine, you don't want us? Let's see what happens for a night." And that's what they did last night. There's a story here in Forbes. One of the union guys, he says, there were officers walking off. There were officers saying they're not going to leave the precinct unless to help another officer. Some are walking off and sitting in their personal vehicles. So you had a whole bunch of people calling off sick, right? And you had a whole bunch of other cops who were on the job. Basically, I'm just going to sit in my car. And unless I hear, officer down, I'm going to stay in my car and just let whatever's going to happen to the city happen. So very interesting. I'd love to know what you all think about that. The blue flu. Could this be a new wave of basically counter protests by the police from basically all the stuff that's been going on? I mean, is that a possibility? Could we see more police essentially sitting out? So love to know what you think about that. Go ahead and comment down below. Let's have a conversation. And before I get out of here, I want to bring your attention to update a story that we talked about on informedamerican.com and that many of you were passionate about on the Facebook page, which is this Shake Shack story out of New York City. Story here from informedamerican.com. What's in your milkshake? If you're a cop, it could be bleach. There was three officers who had a Shake Shack. They all had shakes and fell ill instantly. Went to the hospital, and there was a tweet from the police unit saying, "Tonight, 3 of our fellow officers were intentionally poisoned by 1 or more workers at the Shake Shack at 200 Broadway in Manhattan." And so, this got people really riled up. What is going on here? And apparently the cops were assigned to a protest detail, and then, the potential of being poisoned while just trying to get a meal. Got a lot of people up in arms, but the update to that story here from CBSNews.com, no foul play found after NYPD cops get sick from Shake Shack Shake. Shake Shack Shake. They did an investigation and they found there was no foul play involved. They say there was, well, the story is, which by the way, some of you, we got a comment here from Lee Simonek. They needed to walk out. Yeah, referring there to the blue flu, the protest. I know there was a comment here before we started from Helen Lamphere. I think all policies should resign, or all police should resign. Let the dimwits figure it out themselves. And Becky Campbell says, "Bravo, Blue Lives Matter." So far, all of you are in support of this sort of police counter-protest, which is what I'm calling it now. But yeah, this thing here in Manhattan, thankfully the cops were not poisoned. And as I was starting up to say, the story is that there was some cleaning solution in the shake machine. God knows whatever that is. That was apparently not properly flushed out. So some of that ended up in the shakes, made them feel ill. It wasn't anything bad other than probably just like an upset stomach or something like that. And they were able to recover. But I did notice a couple of you, even as, because we posted the story on Facebook, and then a few of you were like, well, this isn't quite right. Some of you had seen the update, and others had not. But even those, some of you also weren't buying the updated story, thinking that maybe this was intentional, and we're just trying to act like it wasn't. So interesting there, but hopefully that wasn't the case. Hopefully it was just some poor cleaning procedure from a minimum wage Shake Shack employee, and then it just happened to get somebody sick. Those things do happen. Another comment from Lee: police should protest till the cop charges are dropped. Yeah, interesting there. Well, as I said earlier, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation was surprised by these charges because they typically, I don't know all the procedure, but according to them, they wanted to be able to finish their investigation and then pass it down to the DA, who should then make an informed decision. And according to them, that did not happen. It was a rush to judgment and a rush to charges. And, now I guess the issue here would be shooting him in the back. However, he did try to shoot a stun gun at them. So, that's essentially assault with, I don't know if it's a deadly weapon, but certainly not a very nice, it's a little stronger than, throwing or hitting someone with a baseball bat, I think. I don't know. But a stun gun is certainly something. If you're going to shoot a stun gun at a cop, you kind of know what's coming there, right? And that's basically what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to talk about this blue flu counter protest by the cops. So far, many of you seem to be in agreement with it, and also to update you on the Shake Shack story, because we do want to be as accurate as possible, and as things develop, we want to be able to update them to you. And that's how we can all be informed Americans. And you can be an informed American, of course, by watching this show, liking our Facebook page, heading over to our YouTube page if you haven't done so already, and of course going to informedamerican.com to get real smart news in your inbox every day by sharing your email with us, and you'll get our daily newsletter of stories. So thank you so much for watching. I want to appreciate you sticking with me here for round 2, and I apologize for those who tried to come in and watched me basically talk without getting any sound. So my apologies there. Also, but you did get to see the nice kitty. So thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next video.